Now, no one would argue that the Toronto Raptors offseason has been perfect, but one move that was made earlier this summer is looking like more and more of a steal every single day. So we're going to discuss that, including more accolades getting thrown the way of Team Canada, and Dillon Brooks still getting under the skin of LeBron James. So lots of stuff to break down, but before we dive into any of that, we have a very exciting announcement, as this video is brought to you by Rentals.ca. And Rentals.ca, if you've been watching the channel over the course of the summer, you know it's Canada's largest apartment hunting network. You can rent condos, houses, apartments, whatever it is, Rentals.ca has you covered in pretty well every single city across Canada. You can find listings, so if you're looking to rent this fall, you know people looking to rent this year, definitely tell them to check out Rentals.ca, as it's the best destination to find your perfect rental. And now they've been supporting the channel this summer, which has been awesome, and now they're looking to support you guys as well, because if you check out the link in the pinned comment of this video or in the description, you have the chance to win a month's free rent. That's right, up to $2,500. Rentals.ca is willing to pay a month's free rent to a lucky winner, a lucky listener that enters in this giveaway that's found in the link of the pinned comment or in the description of this video, which is absolutely huge. It's awesome to see. So I'd love to see a listener of the channel end up winning that sort of giveaway. So if you haven't signed up yet, definitely check out that link there below, because Rentals.ca looking to give back to you guys. They're fans of the Toronto Raptors, around the community and all that type of stuff. So shout out to Rentals.ca for supporting the channel and supporting you folks as well. But we got a lot of stuff to dive into in this video, so let's dive in the first topic of discussion. And first thing we're taking a look at is this officially being a steal for the Toronto Raptors. Now, if you've been listening to the pods in recent weeks, you know I've had high praise for Dennis Schroeder and what he's been able to do for Team Germany over the course of the summer. And it was capped off, it was sealed. We discussed Team Canada's rise to a medal in yesterday's video. Well, one Toronto Raptor actually reached the mountaintop, reached the glory, also knocking off the United States and then knocking off Serbia in the championship game. Winning MVP, Dennis Schroeder, won for Team Germany. A lot of people saw this, but Dennis Schroeder ended up winning the FIBA World Cup MVP, which is awesome for the Toronto Raptors. Now, I don't want to reiterate a lot of the stuff I said in a video a couple days ago. I mean, we know that the value that Dennis Schroeder could potentially bring to this team. Losing Fred VanVleet, Schroeder coming in on a very team-friendly contract, it feels like. Only a 2-year deal, making roughly $13 million per season, right? Schroeder's going to come in and have the opportunity to potentially start for the Toronto Raptors, if not be a key rotation piece off the bench and run the point guard position in a team that I just mentioned. Lost their regular starting point guard and has that opportunity for a guard to come in, push the pace, facilitate, and these are all the things that we saw Dennis Schroeder do over the course of this FIBA World Cup tournament with Germany, and he did it with the Lakers last season as well. I mean, this offseason just for the FIBA World Cup, I mean, we saw him win the MVP award, which is huge considering he won the championship and Franz Wagner is on his team, which is the player a lot of people consider to be the most talented guy on Team Germany, but Schroeder really took the charge of this team. Sure, Wagner, when he was healthy in this tournament, was the more steady piece in terms of scoring and all these types of things. There were other guys on Germany that played very solid as well, but when it came to crunch time, it felt like Dennis Schroeder didn't miss any of those threes. He was hitting clutch shots. He missed one free throw down the stretch against Serbia in the championship game, but other than that, put on a masterclass in the clutch, just making the right decisions, facilitating, driving, his explosiveness going to the rim. It's just something to get really excited about, because one thing that the Raptors fans have noticed over the past few years, ever since Kyle Lowry left, is Fred VanVleet. Yes, he's talented. Yes, I have all praise in the world for Fred VanVleet, but late in games, he wasn't the greatest closer. He didn't have the size to create his own shot. He didn't really have one go-to move where he could reliably get a good look at the end of a game. And sure, he'd hit a couple, but more often than not, with Fred VanVleet tried to go takeover mode at the end of a game, it didn't really work out. So Dennis Schroeder, coming out clutch, doing his thing, winning MVPs for Team Germany, and he won it based off of his sort of poise, his decision-making, and being the leader for this team down the stretch of games. That's going to be huge for the Toronto Raptors. And just looking at his stats as well, it's going to be a massive confidence boost. And this is something I sort of hashed in the video a couple of days ago, but he averaged 19 points, 6.1 assists, 2 rebounds, and 1.4 steals per game throughout this tournament. So him bringing in maybe not that level of production, but a level similar to that, coming in with that poise, that same consistency. The three-point shooting percentage wasn't that great, obviously, for Germany, around roughly 33%, about around his NBA average. But if he starts hitting those timely threes that we saw Schroeder hit over the course of this tournament, that is going to be massive for the Toronto Raptors. And considering the contract, that Fred VanVleet got, and then what Dennis Schroeder got, $13 million versus upwards of close to $40 million per season, there's no argument that this signing by Masai Ujiri, by Bobby Webster, was certainly a steal. So hopefully he's able to carry over that momentum into this upcoming season. We'll see how the rotations shake out with Darko Rajakovic sort of making decisions about who's going to start and who's not. We're going to be covering that, I'm sure, a bunch as we lead into the season. But let me know what you guys think about Schroeder winning MVP, winning the championship, and your thoughts on the signing. And should Schroeder be the point guard for this squad? But he's not the only guy. His FIBA action sort of dying down, the chatter's dying. But, we got some awards as well sent out for Team Canada, as basically, few guys made some all-star teams for the FIBA World Cup, and one guy ended up winning the Defensive Player of the Year. So basically, this is the list of teams that made the FIBA World Cup all-star team. As Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the guard there. Schroeder, Bogdanovic, Anthony Edwards, and Luka Doncic. So a very talented group there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was put in. I'd argue Shai was the best player in this tournament by far if you look at his stats. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander becomes the first Canadian to be named to a FIBA World Cup all-tournament team, and he joins Bridget Carleton as the only ones to do it. So, Leo Rautins was also snubbed in 1978 per Blake Murphy, so love to see Leo end up winning one of those awards, but I digress. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being one of the first sort of team players there, and on the second team, we saw no Canadians actually make that roster. I personally think Dillon Brooks was snubbed from that one personally, but he did end up winning another award, as basically Dillon Brooks was named the best defensive player at the 2023 FIBA World Cup, and this sort of builds on his comments following the FIBA World Cup as he compared himself to Kobe Bryant. He discussed how he had that sort of mentality shift. He figured out who his persona was, and it was obviously the villain Dillon Brooks. And he just described himself as the best defender, not only in the FIBA World Cup, but in the world, in the NBA, wherever it is. Dillon Brooks believes in himself to be the best on-ball defender. And while he did make some silly fouls, while there were some moments where Dillon Brooks, the silliness provoked, it popped out at times, especially the flagrant towards Luka when the game wasn't completely sealed, but then Luka ended up getting thrown out a minute later, so it didn't really matter. Other than that, there were some insane highlights from Dillon Brooks and his way to clamp, other teams. So that'd be USA, Slovenia, whoever he was matched up against. He had some big moments, getting clutch blocks, all that type of stuff. So his ability to perform on the offensive end was a marvel at, because he's at times an inefficient shooter. His efficiency was juiced to the max during this tournament for Team Canada, but that in combination with the defense, I'm surprised he didn't make the second team All-Star, but I guess if a team only makes the semifinals, they're not going to have two guys on there. But Dillon Brooks was an absolute beast, and got to give credit to the defense that he was able to play all across this tournament. So shout out to Dillon Brooks. Again, he has flipped the script in terms of the fans liking him, especially across Canada. I think he's become a little bit more hated in the United States, and even to guys like LeBron James. As for people that didn't follow the playoffs last year when the Raptors were knocked out, Dillon Brooks was a huge storyline in their matchup, the Memphis Grizzlies versus the LA Lakers, in terms of the trash that he talked to LeBron James. And now it's speculated that he's getting under LeBron James' skin again, because Team Canada obviously ended up winning the bronze medal, beating out the United States in that third place game, just yesterday. And it was a great scene. Check out the video, the immediate reaction to that I posted yesterday. A lot of fun, history for Team Canada, but for the USA, a little bit of an embarrassing moment. I mean, they lost multiple games during this tournament. They came in with lots of ego, as they do. USA is the most talented in the world in terms of basketball players, but Dillon Brooks went nuclear in that game. There's that beef already with LeBron James, and basically when LeBron James saw Dillon Brooks put up 39 points, and a report came out and said, no, it wasn't attached to the FIBA World Cup and stuff, but basically LeBron said, hey, Enough's enough. I'm done with all this madness. Saying that, sources say LeBron James wants to represent Team USA at 2024 Paris Olympics and is spearheading a group of future Hall of Famers, including Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, who are prepared to commit. And more reports went on to say that guys like Dillon Brooks, De'Aaron Fox, Kyrie Irving are all interested in playing for Team USA during the Paris Olympics, which makes sense. A lot of the best players generally show up for these Olympic Games from the United States, from pretty well every single country. So Team Canada is officially qualified for the Olympics, which is huge, and hopefully we'll have a bit more talent, especially in the front court, ready to go, ready to suit up for this team. A few of the young guys too that weren't really ready to prepare for that 3-year commitment, as they weren't in the NBA yet and stuff. But Team Canada will have to match the talent, or won't be able to match the big names of Team USA and the players that could potentially join their squad. But as we saw, talent isn't the be-all and end-all in these sort of international tournaments. How you're prepared, how you're coached. In this Canada group, sure, we might have some additions with Wiggins and Chris Boucher and some of the younger guys, Mathurin and Jamal Murray coming back, but this core group that we've seen from Team Canada now has played the last few summers, so hopefully that cohesiveness as a group will help us in our quest to get some Olympic gold, because there was definitely a real possibility we could have won gold at this FIBA World Cup. It'll be a much bigger challenge, especially if Serbia also gets Nikola Jokic. Everyone has their guys, but I believe in Team Canada. I believe in Dillon Brooks, firing up LeBron James to get all the stars back. That's the narrative I'm going to run with. It's the narrative a lot of people are running with, but I'd love to see that matchup of a fully loaded Team Canada versus a fully loaded Team USA. But let me know what you guys think about all this news. You guys are the best for making it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Again, if you made it this far, definitely check out those links in the pinned comment in the description of this video. Chance to win free money. So, check that out. But folks, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.